Welcome back to ScreenCrush. I'm Ryloth, and this is all of the Easter eggs, references, and little things that you might have missed in The Bad Batch, episode 12. The episode is called Rescue on Ryloth, which, yeah, is exactly what happens in the episode, but it's also titled like the Clone Wars episodes that first introduced Ryloth: Storm over Ryloth, Innocence over Ryloth, and finally Liberty on Ryloth. Now, by doing this, The Bad Batch is drawing a straight line from the Clone Wars to Star Wars Rebels, where Hera is a main character. I went over this a little last week, but I'm going to offer up a brief refresher in case you're not the kind of person who rewatches Clone Wars episodes to get ready for a new Bad Batch. Ryloth was the setting for a multi-episode arc on the Clone Wars, where the Republic had to infiltrate the Separatist-occupied planet and join forces with its leading freedom fighter, Cham Syndulla. Now, at first, Cham did not trust the Republic because he thought they would just be another occupying force.
Your troops will stay for security?
For a while, to keep the peace.
So this clone who is loyal to Cam is named Hauser, no relation. He actually appeared in that original Clone Wars run when the Republic freed Ryloth from the Separatists. He's right here, standing next to your mom. Hauser's journey has been my favorite part of this mini arc, and it has larger ramifications for Star Wars history that I'll go into later in the video. Now notice that Cam has tattoos on his Lekku, that's their head tentacles. Now this tattoo is similar to the designs on his family's Kalikori, which we saw in Star Wars Rebels.
It's a Kalikori. A revered Twi'lek heirloom, passed from parent to child through generations.
These are priceless family heirlooms that every generation adds to, like a family quilt. So I'm betting his head tattoos tell a similar story about his family. So the worst thing about Hera being in this episode is that Chopper is in the episode with her. I've always thought he was annoying and a little racist. See? Totally racist. Actually, when Cam saw Chopper in Rebels, he actually remembered him from Hera's childhood.
Is that the old astromech you found during the Clone War?
So it's actually nice to see Star Wars continuity adhered to, for once.
There you will learn from Yoda, the Jedi Master who instructed me.
Crosshair is still leading his squad of human troopers who are wearing darker armor. Now this helps us distinguish them from the Regs, but I'm also wondering if this means they are a precursor to the Death Troopers from Star Wars Rebels, Rogue One, and The Mandalorian. These were elite stormtroopers who could actually hit a moving target. Speaking of Crosshair's squad of humans, I'm going to stand by my theory that this one is a younger version of Captain Zara from the comics. She is a great character who eventually becomes the protege of Grand Moff Tarkin, and I would love to see her officially appear in this show. Back on the Bad Batch's shuttle, Omega's trying to repair their gonk droid when she learns
It's a defective unit.
Now this is kind of a meta end joke because no one actually knows what the gonk droids do, apart from being dumbbells for Wrecker. And this one being defective only makes it more endearing to the Bad Batch.
We're defective too.
When Hera reaches out to Omega, she sends a hologram of herself crouching, a nod to Princess Leia's call to adventure in A New Hope.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Hunter says,
"We can't put ourselves on the line every time someone's in trouble."
And this is showing us the Bad Batch's arc for the season, going from being runaways to runaway mercenaries who do good deeds as soldiers of fortune. Guys, wait. Is this the A-Team in space? When the Batch return to Ryloth, they meet Hera at her dad's old command post, where we first met him in the Clone Wars. And I always thought there was a good chance that the kid he was holding here was Hera, since this does take place about 3 years before this episode. Hunter mentions the military occupation presence is like Raxus, the former Separatist capital that we revisited a couple episodes ago. Now here the troop presence is because they are mining Dunium, a super strong metal that was also mined on Lothal and Rebels, and is a key part of Timothy Zahn's novel Thrawn. They encounter and disable an Imperial probe droid like we first saw in The Empire Strikes Back.
What was it?
Droid of some kind. I didn't hit it that hard. Must have had a self-destruct.
In fact, after they wreck it, they have a similar response to Han's.
The Empire will know we're here.
It's a good bet the Empire knows we're here.
I also thought it was interesting that Hera does not even care about fighting the Empire at this point. She just wants her family back.
I just want my kids back.
As we'll see at the end of the episode, she's actually raised into rebellion by her father and mother, which I'll talk about more later on. Omega talks Hunter into the mission by saying,
"She's trying to save her family, Hunter. I'd do the same for you."
And later reiterated that they're all brothers. Now we see this sentiment echoed a bit later when Hauser leads a mini rebellion against the occupation.
We're now being ordered to target the very people we swore to protect. and I will not be a part of it any longer.
So I thought this was the most interesting part of the episode. When clones were first introduced, they just seemed like programmable organic droids.
They are totally obedient, taking any order without question.
And then we saw this reflected in Revenge of the Sith when they turned on the Jedi at a moment's notice. The Clone Wars series gave a great gift to the Star Wars canon. It humanized the clones, gave them nicknames and individual appearances. And then there was Cut, the clone deserter.
Yes, well, you and I may be clones, but we're still individuals. You have a name rather than a number, Captain. Why is that? I like to think I'm merely exercising my freedom to choose. To choose not to kill for a living.
I think all of this is saying that organic beings, even oppressed ones like the clones, will always gravitate toward individuality. If you want to find a deeper meaning, you can say this is the work of the Force, which thrives in a wide variety of life. Whereas the Sith and the Empire want to streamline and organize all life, the good side flourishes through individuality. But try convincing Cam of that.
We trusted you, Hauser. I won't make that mistake again.
Now this is Cam coming full circle with how he originally viewed the Republic in the Clone Wars. When they're planning the assault, the Batch tells Hera,
I guess we'll follow your lead.
A neat way to foreshadow that she will become a key leader of the rebellion in Star Wars Rebels. It was also pretty neat that we got to see her fly for the first time. And the shuttle they hijack is a missing link connecting the Omicron-class shuttle that the Bad Batch uses to the Imperial shuttles that we saw in the original trilogy. During the Imperial crackdown, this trooper says,
Have your chain codes out and ready for inspection.
And you'll remember, these are the space security numbers that were the focus of Episode 2.
No planetary travel without a chain code.
While the base is under attack, the alarm is the same Imperial alarm that we heard in the original trilogy. So, when Hauser turns on the Empire, the moment seemed inspired by one of the earlier missions in Star Wars Battlefront 2, when there's a clone rebellion on Kamino.
A special detachment of the Imperial 501st Legion was dispatched to Kamino, with orders to eradicate an army of clones that had been bred to take arms against the Empire.
Now afterwards, the Empire started to mix in regular humans with the clones. In this series, we've seen that the Empire, especially Tarkin, is looking to stop clone production and fill their ranks with human troopers. Now this event is probably the catalyst for that to happen. Then we'll see clones forced into retirement. Some will go quietly, while others might break off and form militias or clone rebellions. By the end of the season, the Bad Batch could find themselves leading a whole platoon of troopers because, in a way, all of those clones would now be defective outcasts like them. This mini-rebellion didn't come out of nowhere. I already mentioned Cut deserting, but we've also seen clones frag a Jedi officer and Rex fighting against his control chip in the Clone Wars finale. This idea of individualism being stronger than conformity cuts to the main theme of this show. After they rescue Cham, he takes his family off the planet to fight the Empire.
Our fight for Ryloth is not over. We will return.
Now this does a great job of connecting the series to Rebels. The next time we see Cham, he's angry at Hera for fighting the Empire on several planets and not just Ryloth. So in this episode, she leaves with her dad to explore the galaxy, seeding her worldview, or I guess galactic view, that the Empire's oppression is bigger than just her world. It also explains why she pulled a Clarice
and that accent you've tried so desperately to shed, pure West Virginia,
and dropped her accent.
Tech showed me how to scramble his ship's signature.
Too late, Father. Chopper, make the jump to hyperspace.
The episode ends with Rampart finally giving Crosshair the go-ahead to hunt the Bad Batch down. I still really want to see the Bad Batch have it out with Crosshair, maybe even deprogram him, and then Crosshair still decides to stay with the Empire. I think the absence of their brother is like a phantom limb for this family, and I think they need to address how this makes them feel, and I'm looking forward to that happening head on. But what did you think of the episode? Do you have any fun theories you want to let me know? Tell me in the comments or at me on Twitter. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. For ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy.